Holy moly. Hey, everybody. Want to chat already? If you want to chat with me, make sure make sure you are a subscriber. A couple seconds later, you'll be able to chat with us here on the live stream. And if you're watching this when it's no longer live, all you have to do is leave me a comment. I will do my best to respond to you. Let me get this loaded up and we can talk about everything. Put me on this side, and I don't know why the little bar at the bottom's up. We'll see if we can't get rid of that. There we go. And 30 minutes of awesome. This is the World's Fair site right here. I guess there, right there, right there. There we go. Point the right direction. I'm backwards. All right. That's the World's Fair site. This is the Sun Sphere, the gold-colored ball right up here. Yeah, right there. I guess it's gold-plated glass on that thing, and it's built in a ditch, you know, right there in the middle of town. My house is out. Let's see, out that way, kind of. Maybe off the screen. Anyway, this is the amphitheater for the World's Fair site. They've kind of rebuilt this whole thing. It was different back in the World's Fair. This is UT off here to the kind of middle leftish. So interesting stuff. Anyway, yeah, and we're gonna get started because it is 5 o'clock. So first off, are we topping? And then number two, indications are that we may see a big pullback. So maybe we're topping. And then after we talk about all that, we'll get to 30 minutes of your requests. So I see lots of requests already thrown up here, and I may have to get you to rehash them here. So, yeah. Yeah, I like Knoxville. I know you do too, Cindy. You're kind of in the area. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get going, shall we? So, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here is intended to be informational, educational, and fun. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument or anything else, because I may be completely full of crap, but I don't think y'all are watching me because I'm full of crap. But I mean, I could be. I could be like Jim Cramer, you know, always get it wrong. I don't know. There's the inverse Jim Cramer index, you know. Anyway, if you desire personal financial advice, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor that has a fiduciary duty to give you good advice. So, all right. Coin down, Mara up. What's going on? Coin got sued by the SEC. Steve, you gotta keep up on current events. We talked about that this morning. So anyway, yeah. So S&P 500. Guess what? We're in the zone, the danger zone. We took the highway to the danger zone. Now, do we break out? Go back to retest this high from March, or do we retrace, which is the highly most likely pattern right at this point, is to tag this zone right up here where we topped back in August and retrace. Highly likely. Highly likely. Glad you like it. My comedy, people say I'm really funny, but I don't usually convey that on my videos. So I don't know. I speak in a lot of movie quotes, or at least I did for a long time. So anyway, highly likely to retrace. That's a big caution. Big caution. Big caution. Highly cautious. I should put my monster in the trash now. Highly cautious that we get this pullback. Highly cautious. Did I mention I'm highly cautious? Yeah. Yeah, it's true about reverse Jim Cramer. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So you guys watch me because I tend to be more right. I kind of want to be the Jim Cramer of YouTube. I mean, that's why. Like, tell your friends. I'd love to have more people watching. Maybe I can help some people. Actually, help people instead of just tell you that things are going to happen and then watch it go opposite to what I say. Hate to be that guy. Anyway, I tend to be right. That's why you guys are here, right? All guys and gals. So, how long did I talk about this area? I feel, it's like it's bittersweet coming to the end. I mean, I've said it so many godzillions of times since we were down here that we were coming right up in here, and here we are. I had so many people blatantly tell me I was wrong. Like, we would not see 4,300 area in 2023. Here we are. Anyway, so now is time to be careful. The path forward is not clear. All right. I don't, my unicorn dust, you know, I do keep it right here on my desk, you know, unicorn dust. And the camera can't focus on that, but I have a whole bag of unicorn dust, and it does not predict where we're going from here. It's a big kind of coin flip. Highly, highly dangerous. What the next move is. We can retrace back to here. We can come all the way down to here. The next move is not clear. All right, it will clear up probably next week after the CPI, the PPI, the FOMC, the rate change announcement, and the massive Opex, where futures expire, options expire, quarterly options expire, first half of 2023. You believe those options are already expiring? Holy cow. Anyway, so big Opex next week. Big bunch of events, big bunch of numbers, CPI, PPI, the FOMC meeting, possible rate change announcement. It's a volatile, dangerous week coming up next week. Likely to see some volatility. I cannot say that enough. I feel like I've said it a bunch of times, but I really can't say it enough. I mean, look, this is the VIX, 20-year VIX right here. I just unzoomed it. 20-year VIX right here in June. We typically see volatility going into that Opex, and then we got to be careful. All right, June is typically volatile. July typically sees it calm back down, and then as we ramp into October from July, we typically see increased volatility. This is a 20-year average. Says down here 20-year range ending in 2021. So it doesn't count 2022. But it's pretty much the same. We've kind of been following this script all the way up into May, hitting the lower, this is kind of what we're seeing right now, this spike down. We're kind of into June, but this volatility probably coming. Watch out. Please be careful. Don't get FOMO on your longs. Please don't get FOMO on your longs. And then looking at the VIX, that was the VIX. Anyway, looking at S&P seasonality, choppy, and we can end the month down. This is what I'm talking about. We may see a little rally here. That's kind of what we're getting. We may get a pullback, may get another spike, and then we may get a bigger correction. This is 100% within what I'm expecting to see happen here. Increased volatility, and please be careful. All right, middle of the month, kind of coming up right there. That Opex next week, I don't know. We could see it dip into the Opex, pop, and then drop into the end of the month. So please, please, please be careful. And then Nasdaq seasonality, choppy June. That's usually what we see. 20-year, again, this is a 20-year average, and this does include 2022. So typically we see a choppy June. Right now we've kind of come up and kind of hit our head. We haven't gotten a pullback, but we may see a pullback manifest on Nasdaq. All right. Everybody on the same page? Everybody believe me or not believe me? I don't care at this point. Please please don't go all in right now. I don't care what anybody says. This is not necessarily a breakout until... It's not a breakout right now. Keep coming back. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell for the notifications. I'll tell you when it's all clear, and we're likely going to do something high probability, like go up to 4,300 from all the way down here, which is what we've been on for months now. It was like November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. We're finally there 8 months later. After 8 months, now I don't have anything to tell you right now. We're going to see volatility. That's what I got to tell you. All right. I do a morning show too. If you didn't know, if this is your first time on the show, or maybe you've only come to the 30 minutes of awesome afternoon shows, I do a morning show every morning, and it's on right here on YouTube. All you have to do is watch them on the live tab. So, all right, in queue. We're getting extended. The max extension I'm expecting right now is probably up to this March high. In Q, you might say, with JT, what's in Q? QQQ, just divide by 41. These are the futures. Why do I use futures? Because they don't leave gaps in the charts. It has the most complete picture. Now we can see the story I've talked about all the way down through here. And we're coming back up to this level. This is resistance above us, and we're likely to see this pullback. I thought we may have seen it already. We got a little baby one in there and extending higher. Please be careful. Don't chase tech. Especially NVIDIA is 37, 38 times price to sales. That's so UVXY. I don't like UVXY. It's decaying. Look at that chart. That is a garbage chart. It's probably going to reverse split some like 20 godzillion to 1 or something like that. Put it back up to 40. So I was in an ES bear debit spread yesterday. After we got the pullback this morning, I liquidated it, made like 2 points. ES points are like $50, so that's like $100. And then I got into an ES spread on the dip this afternoon. I felt like it was gambling. I'm up like 2 points again at the close. So maybe I should go close that after I get done here, when the futures restart at 6 o'clock. Can't trade right now. But yes, you can trade options on futures 23 hours a day. From 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern, you cannot trade them, but from 6 p.m. till 5 o'clock the next day, you can. Of course, on Friday, it shuts off at 5 p.m. and doesn't open till Sunday at 6 p.m. So there is still a 2-day weekend. It just goes from Friday evening till Sunday evening. So if you didn't know that little tidbit about futures options, maybe go open a Tastyworks account, click the works when you're checking it out, and you can trade options on futures. And you know what? They don't count toward pattern day trader. Imagine that. And they're the pricing on futures options like in points, so $50 points. All right, yeah. So UVXY probably not going to respond. I mean, think about it. Like, so this is a 3 times leverage against VIX, ultra leveraged. So VIX goes up 20% or even 5%. I mean, look, VIX goes up 5%. This would go up 15%. That's 30 cents. That's not even going to, like, if you bought a $2 option, you're not even going to make any money. I mean, at the price this thing is, it's not going to respond. It's not going to do what it's designed to do. Now, one that might respond, SVXY. Look at this baby, right up to the targets. Kind of wish I had held on to those calls. I sold them out at 72. Wow, that would have been... This thing's likely to do a 15 to 20% retrace. Now, if you want to play puts on something, puts on this, maybe a great idea, especially if we poke up into the 79.80 area. Well, I don't know about a great idea. It might be it might pay out. If we zoom out and look, about every so often we get this 15 to 20% pullback ever since COVID happened right back here. We get a 15 to 20% pullback, almost like clockwork. We have a little extended period here, and that went, how long did that go? Let's see. How long was that in between there? 63 days in between there, in between those freakouts. So every couple of weeks, we tend to get a 15 to 20% pullback in SVXY. And right now, it has been, since we did that last one, it's been 59 days. You tell me. 15% takes us back down to about 67-ish. Zoom it up so you can see it. Zoom it up, zoom it up, zoom it up. Takes us back down to about 67. 20%. Right back to the roadmap line. Look at that. Down to 63. You tell me, what's the better play, UVXY or this? You could actually buy like a $75 put out of the money significantly, maybe even a $70 put. You know, if it's going to go to 67, or even on down. I would definitely go out to July though, probably. And if you wait till this starts turning down, you're probably going to be too late. But it's right up to the extensions that I drew on here. So I don't know. Sometimes this stuff works. It's kind of creepy. Anyway, yeah, I had that target right there drawn on there. Right at 75. We blew on through that. So highly likely to see a large pullback on SPXY. The last one back here in February was about 18%. So somewhere in between that 15 to 20% area. Highly likely to see that kind of, I mean, look at how many there were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of them so far. All right. That's my my warning there. Looking at ES, this is S&P 500 futures. We're in the topping zone here. We have not tagged the high from August last year, but we're in the topping zone. We can do one little spike and get it, and then reverse. And that can take us down to 40.80 on ES, which S&P 5, the SPX is just a few points different. And then the big reversal zone could be all the way down here to 38, 39. So this is some volatility might be coming, but we'll probably, if we drop, we'll probably hold the roadmap line for at least a few days before we drop on down, if we're going to do the bigger retrace. So the most likely scenario is just to retrace back to the roadmap line, the daily roadmap line, and then bounce there. That would be healthy, and I'd be looking much higher if we hold that and bounce. It's going to freak everybody out, though, because that's going to be like a 200, 300 point retrace off of whatever high we strike up here. Just enough to put a bunch of fear in everybody, right? Russell, look at this. Look at this. This one. This is what I was talking about. Like, we get this close back above the roadmap line, this sucker can take off. This one doesn't look like it's going to retrace like the other ones. Kind of warned about this on Monday or on Friday when we saw that pop above the roadmap line, and then Monday we kind of got a retrace. I was like, I don't know, but today popping again. This is outperforming both ES and NQ on the short time frame. But it has, when you look at what it did, I mean, just on that March banking crisis, it retraced and has been sucking. So it has a huge opportunity to catch up. It's way lagging. And just to catch back up to where, this is the August high right here. We're talking about, if you're like JT, I don't know how to trade Russell. That's IWM right there. We're talking about 11% upside just to catch up to the August high, back to ES. And if we were going to catch up to where NQ is, we're looking at like a 17% upside. So you might not agree with me. You might say, I don't think that's what's going to happen. But what if it does happen? Right here, back to the August high, right over there. Yeah, about an 8% upside, and then to catch up to where NQ is, about 11, 12%, maybe 13% upside on IWM. Opportunity. We're back above the roadmap line. We do have a 618 resistance just above us right here. If we can clear that, all signs are pointing up to this 204 to 207 area at the minimum. Right up in here. Maybe an extension. So, all right. Covering the rest of the things I usually cover. CL. This was interesting today. Did a measured bounce on the low time frames. This was a measured bounce type setup. Moved up, retraced, bounced off the 618, popped back above the roadmap line. This was an entry for me. I got into USO on top of the UCO I was already in, and we're looking for continuation. So USO is the one I got into, and Just put it on daily chart. Doesn't look like much yet, but the target up here, it's a double measured bounce. So this, let's clear this up a second. It still has potential. It could go down. I'm not gonna lie or joke about that, but USO potential target right up here around 80 to 84. Right up there, right up in that zone. And then UCO has a similar type of setup. Did a little bit deeper and looking for that one to get up in this $27 to $29 area immediately, and potentially a much bigger move could be in store up into this zone around 38 to 40. So playing it both ways. On oil, Brent just looks like a hot mess compared to CL. Gasoline, that has a that's another potential measured bounce set up to go much higher. That's going to hurt at the pump if that goes, especially since Biden already blew the SBR. I mean, we don't have it anymore. We don't have petroleum reserves to dump into the market if gasoline goes crazy. We start breaking up $4, $5, $6 a gallon. What are they going to do? They got nothing left. They already blew their. They already blew it. So, yikes. That's all I got to say on that one. Yikes. Because this one looks like a super bullish setup. We could easily come back and retest the highs we had from summer last year. And natural gas continues to be sucky. And I don't see it getting out of that funk right now. There's no bullish anything right there. That was the play, and that's the death of it. And that looks like a classic bubble pattern at this point. So that was played out, and there's nothing happening for now. Gold continues to look like it's going to retrace, and I need to zoom this up. It could make a third move higher here, a little bit higher, push up into a possibly like what might look like a 618-ish retrace right up here at the top of this consolidation. Then it could roll down again. I do expect it to tag the roadmap line before going higher. I said that about Bitcoin for a long time. People were telling me that the Bitcoin bottom was in, and guess what it did yesterday? It hit the roadmap line right there. Came down, touched it, and then retraced today, even though yesterday SEC sues Binance, and today they sue Coinbase, and we rally like crazy. And Mora goes up, and Coinbase goes down because they got sued, and people are like, what the heck is going on? It bounced off the roadmap line. That's what I saw, and we have potential to go up from here. 32,000 is my next target on Bitcoin, which is right up in here, about 32.8. And if we run the other fib line off the high down to the low, we can see a confluence, 32.7, 32.8, probably coming up into that zone. That's my next expectation of where we go find resistance, right up in that 32,000 area. There's a bigger pattern to go even higher up in here, but this is likely to be resistance well before we bust on up through. So that's my next expectation for Bitcoin. Silver still looks pretty ripe. It did not actually hit the entry, even though I took an entry, took an early entry. We need it to break above this high, and now this high, that's two sets of highs. That's a lower high technically. Need to break up through 24 to get continuation higher. So I went ahead and jumped it. Maybe I shouldn't have, but at this point, SLV, we need to move up through 22 and change, 22.10. I could set this thing up for a large move up into this $30 to $35 area up here. That's silver for you. All right, moving on. Copper continuing to kind of look weak. A lot of people got hyped up when FCX popped up to the roadmap line or near it on Friday. Right up near it Friday. Today, still hanging out right there. It could break out. But remember, the copper chart still looking a little weak. We could roll over, take FCX down with it. And all the other coppers, everybody asks me about their favorite copper stock. I basically keep an eye on copper futures and FCX. Lumber still hard to get a pulse on with the new contract. They did away with the old contract I used to watch, and this new one I don't quite have the pulse on yet. Has a lot of gaps and weirdness, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Moving on. All right, covered Bitcoin. Ethereum, cover that real quick. Just tried to push down into that consolidation zone and got rejected right back up. Now the next move would be a breakout extension. It did not. This one did not retest the roadmap line, so this is in a little bit of no man's land. Got resistance at that prior high right there, the 618. Breakout can take us to 2250. That would be my expectation right now, is to find resistance right up here. All right. All right, I kind of ignored the chat there for a few minutes, so let's circle back. Let me pick up some of the tickers at the start there. Apple. I've been talking about it. WWDC, this Worldwide Developer Conference, is not bullish. We typically, historically, run into the start of WWDC and then get a pullback. Now, this pullback can be a little pullback. It could be one of these little babies, just a little echo, and we could go higher again. Or it could come back and retest the roadmap line. We haven't done that since back here in March 1st, it looks like. So we are due a retrace at some point. We did hit a new all-time high. I think that was the news. I saw everybody beating the drum, but it doesn't look like, maybe, yeah, just a little poke, and then probably get a retrace. Couldn't break out so far. How far down it needs to go? Probably back to this consolidation. Probably go back to that blue line, that prior high. Go back down there, find a little support, and then we can break out and go on up. The upside target's 199. How long that takes? Probably out into late summer. I mean, let's look back over at the seasonality on NQ or Nasdaq. Usually chop and then run into July. So maybe late July is when we see that move. Probably take it up to that extension when we do that. So we get the pullback in June, and then you can go long Apple for that move. That would be my expectation. Why do I say that? Because 15% of Nasdaq is Apple. So keep it in perspective. Nasdaq is probably mostly Apple. Although Nasdaq was not hitting all-time new high. If we look at the QQQ, we're still lagging here. We've got a long way to go to all-time new high on QQQ. That's still 15% to go, roughly 14-15%. So, all right, AXP was a measured bounce setup. That's the entry basically right now, moving up through the 618. Target probably 189. Well, fix the 191. Fix the low there. This was a bigger pullback target off of this big thing back there. This one right here may stall out here, retrace back to here, and get the upper target there. So I do expect this to go right up here, retrace like this, and then finally hit that target right up in there that I've been looking for a number of months. That would be the classic pattern. That's AXP for you. All right, Amazon looking strong. Still has, where we get to today? We still have about 15% upside to get to this prior high. And my target zone right up here. We're getting close. We're getting close. We may make it. I have June options. That's the expiration right there, the blue line. And then I have July options, which are just over a couple more bars. Hopefully we can get there before my options expire. I don't know. Maybe. Come on, announce an AI initiative or something. Somebody go leak that. AI, Amazon's starting an AI initiative. Let's get a big pop. I'd love to see 164 before my options expired. Not sure that's going to happen by next week, but maybe the July ones will pay out. All right, Google. Yeah, breakout. Probably going to rally up to the next resistance, the next high up here. That was breaking above the August high. Next high up there around 145. These are all split adjusted. I did the and then BLD. I said BLD, not GLD. BLD. BLD, yeah, that's a potential breakout there. 234. AMD. I don't know. I expect that one to retrace on deeper here. It pretty much exhausted the move. We could see a little higher push to 136, but I don't know. That's dangerous. Super dangerous right now. I'm not messing with AMD. Just not. A, B, and B. It looks kind of stuck here. Move the wrong thing. Stuck once, stuck twice. Probably significant resistance right there. We are above that initial, like, if you wanted to be an aggressive entry, now. If you want to wait until it's a little better upside, wait till it gets up through this crap right here. Above 130, I'd feel a lot better about it going to 155. But right now, we can just come up and hit that resistance that we've hit once. Really, 1, 2, 3. Do it a fourth time and roll over and go lower again, because that's lower low, lower low, lower low. Each time we hit it, a lower low. It has not proved it's going to do anything otherwise except bounce up, move up here, bounce off of it, and go lower low yet again. All right. RCL has been a hot mess, but breaking out. Yeah, that's... I'd be looking at book profit. It's going to retrace again at some point. And look where we topped all those times. And we're coming right up into it. For God's sake, be careful. That's once, twice, 3, 4. Couldn't make it. 5. Started getting lower. 6. This will be the 7th retest of the area. Can we get through? I don't know. If, I mean, it came down a long way. So if for some reason we are able to get through, if this actually works this time, after trying for almost 2 years, 117, 140, but we'd have that whole other set of highs. This looks like a bigger pattern of the same thing I just talked about on the smaller time frame there, coming across there. Doesn't that look like it did that? Came up, lower high, came up. Might stall out again. I'd be careful. That's playing with fire a little bit there. I'd be looking to book profit, or at least protect my profit. If you're long, if you're looking to enter, I would be freaking careful. All right, 6 flags. That looks like garbage. There's no clear pattern there. It's chasing squiggles at this point. That's a big, gnarly, nasty pattern, and it's not really moving. Just stuck. And then Disney, I still think that one's going to extend lower. I mean, that was a bounce off the Roman line. Just needs one more flush the toilet. I had this target at 80 for a long time. May push down to 75. Let's see, run a fib on it. Yeah, 75, 76. Would be classic move right there. All right. LUV. Looks like garbage. That's a garbage stock. I mean, yeah, garbage stock chart right there. Nothing to look at. DAL. Sideways, man. That looks a lot like Head and Shoulders too. Oop, put my shoulder in the wrong place. If I were to break down, yikes, that could go way on down. Nothing great there at this point. It doesn't look awesome. Sorry to say. And then SLV I already covered. Looking there, GLD. Looks like it wants to go lower, just like the gold chart. Needs to touch the roadmap line. QCOM, sorry, Ray, you blabbed a whole bunch and I can't quite read that with, I'm not a fast reader. QCOM looks like garbage, going lower. Apple, of course, already covered. And GOG, already covered that one. And BITO. This one has the potential to bounce off the roadmap line. Same as Bitcoin, already talked about. This is Bitcoin futures ETF, so it skips days, so the chart looks slightly different than the actual future. We break up through about 17. We could be rallying right up into this $20 area that I've been talking about for months. So that's the target, 19 to 20. All right, and then BTBT, nothing's developed really. Nothing really changed there. Just a squiggle, probably going up for the bigger target at $5 at this point. I guess the bottom end of the range, 450. Target's still up there. Pullback was just within range. Typically happens, we get the extension of that move. Got to pull back before we can go higher again. That's BTBT for you. And then Mara, bounce up, just churning in the range. A breakout on a move above 1050 potential breakout. Got to hold it though, not just spike up and reverse. It's a strong day, but just churning. Nothing on when you zoom out a little bit. And Riot. Yeah, made a lower low there. Can go for the extension to that $15 to $20 area. Mara's target is higher because it didn't extend like Riot did. And this move projects it right up here. Probably get that $15 area before we retrace again, but the ultimate target up here between 20 and 30. And then we'll get a bigger retrace and then probably go up even bigger. PGR. I don't really care about the Fed news. I don't care about news at all. You know what the most detrimental thing to a trader's account is? Listening to any type of news. Any news at all, even me. It's the most detrimental thing to your account. You listen to news, you make a snap decision instead of just looking at what price is telling you. Watching TV, highly detrimental to traders' accounts. You see this popped up here, found resistance at the 618, lower. Got to get above that to go higher on PGR. And CB, probably going lower. Looks gnarly. That's a chart for going lower. Garbage. And ALL, garbage. Lemonade, potential to break out, but it's sitting right at that resistance at the close. Then we've got more resistance right up here. I don't know. That looks, it's coming off the lowest low with no retrace, no real retrace. That's caution. That can just turn back down and go even lower. I would be super cautious. All right. Ray, I'm going to skip you a little bit and come back. Already did those. RTY did that. Dell. Yeah, that's just sideways chopping. Like, potential three-wave move up here. That's a move up. That's a three-wave retrace. That's a move up. That's not really, doesn't look five-wave-ish necessarily. Stopping at the 100%. That is a big red flag. That can go continuation lower. How low? About right there. Look, I got it pretty dang close. 28, 29. Might think I've done this a time or two to draw that arrow right there. CRM. That was the target. It was an echo type move. 236. It'd be the old. It's kind of the top of the move right there. Wouldn't expect higher than that before it comes back and touches the roadmap line. Either now or later. Do it now or do it later from up here. I've been looking to book profits, or at least protect them. Not looking to get into it. MRK. Yeah. Couldn't get above resistance so far. Retracing again. Caution, it can go lower. Entries up here above 116, 117. Looking for 222. 122, excuse me, misspeak. 122, possibly 126 on the upside. If it can get up above the resistance, turn down right where classic resistance right there. And look, chopped right there. See how that chopped on the way up, chopped on the way down, still resistance. Got to get above it to go higher. All right. Our coin got slammed on the regulatory news. Held in the lows here. Gap fill would be my next expectation. Then we'll see what happens. More sideways in this zone. This is just the same zone it's been chopping in. Hadn't really been going anywhere. It's been staying under the roadmap line, finding resistance. Anytime it tries to poke up through, slammed right back down. Try to poke up through, slam right back down. Try to poke up through, slam right back down. Tried to poke up into it, slammed right back down. It's just the pattern. Like, it has nothing to do with the news. Nothing to do with the regulatory news. It's just the garbage pattern right there. I am long shares of this out to 2024. I mean, options, leaps, not shares, leaps. Synthetic shares is what I meant to say. I am long into 2024, looking for this to start performing on Bitcoin rallying, but it may never happen. It can't break above this roadmap line. That may never happen. All right, FMC. Boom. Looks like it's going lower. I mean, it may retrace up to the roadmap line, but doesn't look positive. ADM. Another, oh wow, look at that. Right to the target. How did I get that one right there? Beautiful. That can reverse here or extend lower down to 69, possibly even 63. But pushing down to 69 makes it highly likely to come back up to the roadmap line before it does anything else. Before it goes lower. Something like that. MDT. Medical. Caution. Timeout. Caution. Medical stuff. Biotechs. Pharmaceuticals. All that stuff. The patterns don't necessarily work on those. Now, that all said, it looks like garbage. Sideways garbage. So. All right. We talked about UVXY. LYSDY. What a ticker. Rare Earth Metals Limited. OTC. Sounds like a dangerous thing to be messing with. That looks like it's going into the abyss. Choppy, sideways, downward, choppy, nasty, scary thing. And the resistance is right there. That may pop up to here. If it can't break out, it may come back and make a lower low because it's made a lower low, made a lower low, made a lower low. And no expectation that it wouldn't continue down, making another lower low. ARGX. There's one that might do something. Hit the target, retraced. Next target up, 445. If it breaks out, oh, didn't get the arrow. Arrow, right, like that. There you go. And then BSX. BSX looks like it's going to retrace to the roadmap line. Right there. If you want the roadmap line, go check out the video in my live tab from back around New Year's. I think it's around New Year's. It says free indicator of my big face like this, or like pointing up to that orange line. I give you the code for it right in the video, and if you just want to skip all that hassle and go check the link in the description, $5, you get the code in my Discord and a watch list with awesome stocks that are bouncing off the roadmap line every week for at least 3 months, I think for $5. And if you want to hold another year, it's like $20. It's a heck of a deal. Heck of a deal, I tell you. Hey, Kimberly, I didn't even see you come in. Didn't ring the bell when you knocked on the door. Anyway, that's BSX for you. And I lost my place there. Oracle, ORCO. That's targets, baby. Beautiful. I'd be cautious. That breakout can take us up into this zone, possibly 118, 115, 118. Hadn't retraced in a good long time. This looks a lot like the NVIDIA chart, blasting off into outer space. Eventually, it's going to come back to the roadmap line. But the next target up there, upper. My southern accent coming out. Right up in that zone. And then LI. What makes you think this is going to do anything? Wow, that's a gnarly chart right there. Might trade to the top of the range and might make a lower low. Sideways is what I would expect out of that gnarly piece of junk. Horrible. Doesn't look like anything, Brandy. S-A-R-K. A-R-K. S-S-A-R-K. It does look like it's going to keep on going down. Doesn't look great. SJ. Short Jim. What was that? Nice. Oh, it does have an inverse Kramer tracker. That's funny. Not doing so hot right now, though. Post market. Ouch. Down to 23. Ouch. Maybe inverse Jim's not doing so hot right now. DFS. Nice pop. Nice potential. Nice potential. But just zooming out a little bit. It looks gnarly, man. Resistance right there. I would be super careful. Has not been able to break through that zone for over a year. Yeah, be careful. Careful chasing that one. There's better charts. Like, look at this one. If you want to chase financial, you want to chase a credit card, look at this one. AXP would look pretty good too. MA, right to the roadmap line. Bounce. Potential entry now. Target 401, 413. That's a clear, nice clear pattern. Nice extension. Beautiful targets. Nice and clean. Not a big choppy mess. Do have some resistance at the prior high. But that's a nice, clear, clean chart and pattern. AXP, I started out with. That's a nice, relatively clean potential breakout. We do have resistance, but the target's before we get to the resistance. 191. And it's not been chopping for nearly as much. There's a little more trend to it. A little less gnarly than DFS. You know, DFS has a lot more gnarly to it. That was a lot bigger down. And we topped all the way back here in August 21, way before Nasdaq even topped. Something bigger is playing against it here. Look at all those highs. Once, twice, 3, 4, 5. Is this going to be number 6? Lucky number 6. Do we break out and go to 127? I don't know. Looks like it's got a lot of headwinds. So, did MA and V? I did not do. Visa? My target's up here. And this one has a similar rough looking pattern. But we have broken out of the downtrend. See, When we draw this downtrend through here, we broke out. This looks like a reversal, and we can go higher. We have 240, 249, 261 are all possible with resistance at right there at the 250. So there's probably going to be some sort of reaction at that prior high and that confluence of fibs right there on Visa. All right, NVIDIA, I probably didn't look at it, but that's craziness. I do have a 460 target up here. I sold my shares. I bought at 150 on this measured bounce setup right down here. Bought at 150 back in, what was January? I don't remember when I bought. I was beating the drum. Sold them now. And that's probably going to retrace back to the roadmap line. 460 is the ultimate target, but this sucker's sitting at 37 times price to sales. 36, 37. Above 20 is dangerous. I mean, think about it. That's not even like earnings. That's sales. All right. We're talking about 37 times all of their sales. Not talking about any costs, anything like that. The PE is just insane. So be careful on NVIDIA. Overly high. SMC, look at that exponential move. Highly likely to come back, although the price to sales on this one is not that crazy. It's hanging out like 12 or 15, something like that, 12 to 15. This one can go higher, but it is definitely looking extended. At some point here, we're going to get some kind of pullback. The next fib line that I could possibly throw on here would be like 300. That's the next reasonable fib. That little baby move right there. Yeah, it puts us right at the resistance for that move. I wouldn't expect a whole lot more without a sizable retrace. Mini point retrace. 15, 20. I mean, heck. I mean, a standard retrace after something like this would be like a 618 retrace. So we're talking about like going from up here back down to 618 of the move. And back to the roadmap line, like 50% retrace. I'd be careful. Be careful. Extended stuff, please be careful. BA. That one actually was the chart of the week a couple weeks ago. If you're in Discord, and I kind of had this entry potential above 212, and we promptly reversed it. And we had held the highs right there. Promptly reversed it. Came back down. Parked in right in the zone. I would be cautious right now. We need to break back above that prior high to get continuation. Right now we're holding a higher low. That's positive. The target is 225. You're just going to be patient. Initial entry, the stop was down here around 192, below the lows, below the roadmap line. Be patient. This thing can just pop. We've seen several things pop. AMD popped. You might be like, but well, BA is not the same as AMD. I'm not saying it is, but we've seen things just popping like crazy. That was my point in saying that. All right. BRKB. Yeah. Next move out. I was kind of expecting it to retrace a little deeper, but hitting resistance. Could move out to 340. I don't know. A little micro fib on this. Probably find some resistance at 337, then 343, then 350-ish. We'll probably do this kind of move out. It'll start doing these little squiggles where it can't get much higher because it's running out of energy. Until it does a bigger retrace. One of these bad boys over here. You need one of those bigger retraces. And that was pretty good, but it wasn't quite, didn't come to the roadmap line. So we're just going to squiggle higher until we can get a bigger retrace. That's the options on BRKB. And we're already almost an hour. Crazy. All right. Glad to have you, PD. Sorry to see you go. Contract sales trainer, too choppy, huh? Cat, there's lots of them too choppy. Cat Potentially breaking out above the roadmap line. There's lots of resistance here. Can she do it? I don't know. And then we've got this downtrend cooking. High. Can we break it? I don't know. Target zone was right up here in the green box. That was the highest I expected. We came up just short of it and retraced right back down to the gap. Almost filled the gap. Can we get the energy to go back up now? That's the question. I don't know. I wouldn't be looking long till we were back above 235-ish. And then we still have a lot of resistance. I mean, we just busted through that flip point. Like that was like a ceiling right there. Ceiling, pop, run out of steam, bounce, crushed it back down below. Probably going to be resistance going back up. HA. Hawaiian Holdings looks pretty much like garbage. They lose a lot of money. That's dangerous. Stuff that loses. This is not the environment to be messing with a company that loses a butt ton of money. Money's expensive right now, and it's going to continue to be expensive. And next week we may raise the rates, and it gets even more expensive to borrow money. Please be careful. Win WIN. Yeah, potential bounce off the roadmap line. Beautiful. I believe that was on that one in LVS. I think we're both on the roadmap list for the week. Move above 112, sets it up to go to 123, 129, potentially. Beautiful setup. Looking for continuation. That was the pullback. That's the consolidation. Looking for continuation. LVS was the other one. Yeah, bounce off the roadmap. And for whatever reason, the fib did not stick in the right place on that one. And pull that over. Probably down like something like that. Yeah, move back through that prior high right there at 61. Could set it up to go to 68, possibly 69, and 73 on the upside. All right, cost. Still breaking out to the upside, huh? So look at this. This has been a giant watermelon seed squeeze play. Highly cautious. Just like any watermelon seed squeeze, if you squeeze a watermelon seed, can you predict where it's going? No. This thing can pop up, it can pop down. I got to turn on the log so it even gets close, and my lines never stay in the right place. It can pop up here to 735, and it can suddenly, this could be a fake out, and we get a drop all the way down here to 320. I would not touch this with anybody's account right now. Super dangerous. I've seen people say it's bullish. I've seen people say it's bearish. I am telling you, this is dangerous. Very, very dangerous. You want to say, but JT, there's no way this can drop like that. Au contraire, mon frère. Look at this. Crocs dropping out of the bed. Went from 150 down to 100. All right, that's retail for you. Ouch. ULTA. Ouch. Be careful. All right, Costco can just poop the bed and fall out on the floor. All right, be careful. Boot. Still hadn't done the thing I needed to do. I needed to break above that blue line. Looking forward to break above 75, and then I'm going long for my target up here around 100. Right now, that's a measured bounce setup. Potential measured bounce setup right there. Hold the 618, break back above the consolidation, sets it up for the move. The big move, the power move. Right after that zone. That zone comes from... I'm watching this one. I mean, I've got alerts. I'm watching it. Yeah, that's the bearish target. The bullish target's up here around 150. So right up there. All right, CMG. Almost to the target. Almost there. It came up just shy. What is that? 2165 is the target. And then it'll probably retrace. And it'll be epic retrace back down. Fill that gap. And F is trying to do something, but it's kind of the watermelon seed squeeze situation also. Try. Please break out and go. Still kind of view this as a 3 to 5 year pattern for potential to go higher. Oh, market's back open. And yeah. So it has watermelon seed squeeze, potential to go up to 20 or down to 7. If it can actually break out, do a retrace, get up here, do a retrace and go, we could actually get back on track to go up to the high targets up around 100. Right now, that's we got some stuff to do. Got some work to do. UPST. Yeah, potential, but that's off the lowest low, and that scares me that we don't just reverse and go lower again. For God's sake, man, be careful. We did leave a fat gap right up here that we'll probably find resistance at. And PayPal. I'd be surprised if this has gotten off the map. No, this one did the extension lower. The Sledge, if you're watching, we did hit the 1272 on the downside off that bounce off the roadmap line. 1272. Probably come back to the 100. Maybe extend. So this would be the next pattern. It's just upside down. Same pattern. Upside down. Come back to the 100. Arrow. Then extend. And then the ultimate extension down here at 45. So far, it is not. That's a long for $9, possibly 10. Wouldn't expect more than that right now. I don't care who's hyping what. 9, 10. That's the. And 9 is the primary target. And the pattern usually goes. We've got right up to there. We retrace back to here. And then we go up to the next one. And then we retrace bigger. Typical pattern. ALY. Stuck on the roadmap line. Nothing. That's a 3-wave. Dangerous pattern. Didn't even get to the 100%. That can be all she needs to extend lower. And the financial crisis is not over. The banking problem is not over, especially if they raise rates. The Fed's about to, or not the Fed, but the Treasury is about to start issuing $50 billion worth of T-bills a week. And it's going to suck liquidity out of the banks even further and cause more banking problems. So stay tuned. Banking problem's not over yet. That's still coming up. I don't know why I typed D. Next up, SQ. Square still looks like it's going to come up to the roadmap line. Still a bullish pattern, ultimately, off of this low from back here in October. Barely. It barely held on to it. That was looking like it was going to get extension lower. My target was down here. It may still bounce off the roadmap line. This is the key test. If we cannot break above this zone right here and up to 71, we're probably going down here. So this is a key test here. If we can break above, we're going higher. If we cannot, we're going back down there to extend lower. So potential to head up here, and that won't be in the right place because it made a lower low, but it's pretty close. So potential to go to 110 or down to 40. That's a big gamble from right here at 66. So lose half your money or double your money. Roll the dice. GM, roadmap line, and that resistance right there. Get above that, we can go retest some of this higher stuff, but right now, just stuck in a downtrend. Turns down there, probably going lower. And 30 will be the next downside target. And HMC. Boy, Ray, you are full of them today, man. Whew. Tons and tons of requests. And next target is 31. And then TMC is looking like garbage. Going down to the stuff under $1 doesn't always follow the patterns either. But if it were, let's pretend like it does for a second. The downside extension is 20 cents. FSLR, FSLR. Said one thing, my fingers did it different. Right off the extension, probably coming back to the roadmap line. Did it once, and you might be like, I don't see the extension. Well, let me redraw it. Right there, 1272, back to the roadmap line. Oh, perfect. That would be a perfect retrace. That one and this one would be the exact same size, right at the roadmap line. That would be a beautiful place to hold support and go up again. All right. And DLY. I don't know what you're talking about there. That looks like a gnarly piece of junk. No opportunity for me. Not what I watch. GE. Target right there. Almost to it. 115. And then probably get a retrace back to the roadmap line, back to the prior breakout level. All right. Well, 1, 2, 3 move. All right. TM. Could break out. That's stuck at the resistance. I would. We get above that, we could go, but inconclusive. I would just expect more sideways chop. I would not be surprised if it came back down again. It's got some stuff to work out. We get above there, we get a retrace back to the roadmap line, then I'd be looking bullish, but right now, not really bullish. Let's see, did I miss anything else of yours? UCO, USO did those, PXD. PXD, talked about that this morning, just chopping. Potential 618, but we got to get above 220 for the bigger pattern. The bigger pattern is really big on PXD. Talking 290. Beautiful potential. Got to be above 220 to get up there. All right, and then DVN, Delta Victor November. Yeah, that's looking for an extension lower. Almost got there. Probably gonna get an extension lower. All right, that was all of those. And then RF. Yeah, it looks like RF and First Horizon. All these regional banks look pretty bad. They've left a huge gap, lots of resistance to get back higher. Even FAS looks pretty bad. This one has a huge measured bounce potential. What was the other one? KRE. Bounced right off the 1272, back to the 100. Might extend lower. 25 would be the downside target if we bounce on down. Cautious. We could hold here. That could hold. That could be the bottom, and we launch out of here. But so far, we've only moved up a little bit. We haven't retraced in any meaningful way. Just chopping a little bit. And the banking crisis is not resolved with these rising interest rates and the fact the Treasury is going to sell a bunch of bills. That makes me nervous about anything banking for a little while. So, all right. That's the list, everybody. Went hour and 8 minutes. So, thanks for coming. Remember, I'll be back live again tomorrow morning at about 9:10, talking about what's moving for today, for the day tomorrow, and my daily expectation, what I expect to play out during the day. Typically, I mean, I don't know, I'm probably 60-40 on it. 60% of the time, I kind of call it right. 40% of the time, it does that other thing, you know. So come back, see me in the morning. Love to have you. Thanks for coming. Bye for now. Have a great evening. And, yeah, thanks for coming.